It's time to end this. Okay. So as you can probably see from the title, with that land on the pillow conveniently right there, this is probably not going to be a very happy video like I usually try to do. Which is sad because I wasn't really planning on doing another very angry video. And while I'm certainly not going to be as angry as I was about the Xbox One's original release, I am very angry. Angry emotionally in a different way. So, let's be a lot more nicer and kinder about the subject. So, Steven Spielberg and George Lucas have been in this kind of little interview thing where they basically said video games don't have fucking stories or good characters and shit, basically. That wasn't the exact words, but hey, that's basically what it means. There's nothing to work here. This shit's... It's like... And this doesn't even make any logical sense because Microsoft just got Steven to basically do a contract to make a Halo television series. You just said... Are you fucking kidding me? And you know, we're talking about basically two old guys who are probably, majorly stuck in the past, moving on. It's not exactly an involving trait to them. After all, Steven, you could possibly defend really well. George Lucas, I don't think anyone can really defend his ass. He's became a hypocrite and went downhill like... It's like, movies and arts and that, and then I would never use, and then it's like, CG everywhere! Acting, what the fuck is that? It's like, is it the guy who made this was the same dude who made the Force 3 movie? What? It's like, but I'm not a Star Wars fan. I just, hear shit that they all go over, so. But basically, I'm not going to say, George Lucas has been a hypocrite. He is a hypocrite. In the past, he was like, basically, all the shit he's doing now, he would never do it, and it was stupid, or on filmmaking and stuff, and it's like, oh, look, and it's like, of course he did the ultimate whoring out to sell everything off now, which is funny because I don't know if this is true, but one of my co-workers, who is a huge Star Wars nut, by the way, claims that he has two adopted dogs, I don't know, and that they worked on the animation, don't know, and that after selling it out, Disney closed them. I do know that. So if that is true, he just got their jobs canned, so that was all karma coming back at him, maybe, I guess. I don't know. But whatever. We're here to talk about this main article here. Are games a compelling medium for story and characters? Well, of course I'm going to say yes. Anyone who watched my fucking channel is going to know that already. They go, oh, I already know the outcome of this. So, here's the thing. Instead of freaking out and saying, like, you're stupid, you fuck... Let's examine why they probably think this. First thing, they're both Americans. And they're old. They certainly don't come off as the type of people that play video games, especially since they're filmmakers. And I highly doubt they've played a video game anytime in their recent life. I mean, if they have, it's more likely when they were younger and much younger and younger. So, we're basically looking at Toy NES and what they most likely commonly see. And what's usually somebody who has nothing to do with gaming going to commonly see? The shit that's overhyped in ads. And what is that? Mario, Halo, anything EA does. So, basically what we're looking at is generally, highly advertised Western games and perhaps like Mario and Zelda. And you know, what's a compelling story in that is highly debatable. I'm not going to be like, oh, Halo is just bang, bang, bang. Halo has a story. It has compelling. Whether it's up to my standard or is subjective. I know there's tons of people who are passionate about the Halo universe story. And I'm not going to be here and say it isn't. But, what I am going to say is that it's really pig-headed to basically go out and say, oh, this media that I barely have any knowledge of is just not compelling at all. Ugh. It's like, the fuck? I mean, seriously. It's, what the fuck? Okay, okay, let's put this, let's reverse the roles. Okay, now, I'm a big gamer. So, how am I on the movie end? I'm not a movie person. I'm not a big movie person. I don't usually like a lot of movies, especially modern movies. Let me tell you, it's incredibly hard for me to like modern movies. Because what I just said as a stereotypical reply of somebody else's reply of Halo's storyline is what I would attach to a modern movie. That is the kind of stereotype thing I would attach to a modern movie. Now, I'm not a big movie person. I don't watch a lot of movies, and that's my thought of usually most modern movies. Would I say movies are uncompelling? No! Why would I say that? Because they're all compelling movies. There are movies that touched my heart. I remember when I was a little kid. You know that like cartoon anime clay kind of thing that Tim Burton did with the zombified dog. That's actually slightly based on an old black and white movie. I saw that when I was a kid. I was bawling when I was a fucking kid. I was crying about how the end and shit is. My mom, I never cried from any form of media, period. That must have been like the first time I ever cried because of just feeling sad from a story or movie or game or anything like that. And my mom's like, did your sister beat you up or something? Is she picking on you or that, Because I have an older sister, and that's usually how a younger brother, older sister relationship is. Usually that she picks on the younger brother or that. But, it's like that wasn't the case. But, I mean, I don't watch common movies, but that ain't to say they don't exist. They exist. You shouldn't comment on something if you're completely oblivious to it. I mean, I am not completely oblivious to movies, but I certainly ain't a very active participator. I'm not going to go out there and comment on a movie unless I watched it. Because the same principle of reviewing, in my opinion, is the same thing with a movie. You can't just, watch first 10 minutes and be like, well, there's my overview. It sucks. Now get the fuck out of here. It's like, you gotta watch it as a whole. You gotta think about it. You gotta kind of... But, so, I really think the problem, I don't think it's not the, evil people or something. I really think it's just they're looking at Halo and EA games and stuff like, what's that? Lord of the Rings Conquest and, stuff that doesn't have something they consider, I mean, let's kind of see, Halo isn't, let's say it's not a compelling story, let's say it's not a original compelling story. I mean, come on, it's a sci-fi space thing. There's millions and millions of sci-fi movies. You can't tell me that it's a completely original premise. But then again, you can apply that to, almost anything, really. That's really a hard thing to do to begin with. But I really feel they'll reply to that had a lot to do with the consumption of their knowledge of games. Which, considering they're not gamers, and they certainly probably do not play games, so that would mean anything that's highly advertised and shit, which would be EA, Microsoft, Western games, since we're in America, and small possibilities, Mario and Link and that, it's like... Or just, Nintendo Wii U. It's like, oh, look, it's cute. You wave a remote. What an interesting story. We could make a whole movie about it. It'd be like the Malacca monkey. Da 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 da. Okay. So, I don't think, they mean, real ill intent towards us. But I really have to say, pick your words wisely when you don't fucking understand something. Okay? I can solely tell you, everyone who likes Earthbound, played Earthbound, beat Earthbound, probably wants your head on plier right now. I can certainly tell you, anyone who played Lunar 2 Eternal Complete, Lunar 2 Eternal Complete Blue, probably wants your head on the plow. I can tell you, everyone who got Xenoblade Chronicles when it came out probably wants your head on the plow. And I solely want your head on the plow because this game was awesome. No, I don't want their head on the plow. But I'm very disappointed with their comments on this. They're very pig-headed and stubborn. To change is a good, evolution to... What's the way to word this? To never change is to be stubborn. Life changes. You have to evolve and change also. You can't just always stay in the same thing. And, even games themselves have vastly changed. Nintendo has done many things to change how games could play. And it certainly was a lot more successful than Kinect. But, I don't know. It's it's just such a pig hit. I can tell you, let's take, Silent Hill Homecoming. I did a video on Silent Hill Homecoming, and I basically gave all my opinions on it. This has injected all the feelings and much more than Silent Hill Homecoming did. I love the original Silent Hill games. They inject tons of feel and shit. But I've never, cried or, stuff like that and feel like we were happy or cry and shit. Those things and the horrifying feel has all been injected by 9 Hours, 9 Persons, 9 Doors. But, we're still in the... What's the word I'm looking for? Pissed off way? No. It's obviously a subjective. I'm going to obviously say games are. Games can have compelling stories. Games can have great characters. And, I really feel these filmmakers, because, this ain't the first time this has happened. I feel like these filmmakers are being in a snob stats. Oh my dear lord, these lowly little themes of media think they can be as high as us. Yes. How cute little disc thingy-bobs. It's I don't know. I mean, I really think it's a snobbish way to interpret other medias, I'm not a big movie person, but I'm not here to go and take a shit on everything, Those good movies. Those movies I loved when I was a child. And, they changed. And I've accepted ones that I like that changed and ones I don't, It's just because they changed didn't mean they just all became shit either. I mean, things have changed. Things have evolved. Gaming, movies, music, everything has changed and evolved in different ways, I don't know, it's a bit of a difficult way to word. I don't know. It just really upsets me in a way. Because I can tell you that I don't really know how to word it. I've played a lot of games that have emotionally touched me. Earthbound touched me. Obviously, I always said 999. Virtue just connected more emotions to all that. Persona 3 was an awesome emotional game. Hell, different story arcs in Final Fantasy 11 are awesome to me, and that's probably just a unique thing for me to say. Because, you know, a lot of the other stuff I always said, probably tons of things people would point out. I can't see a lot of people just pulling out Final Fantasy 11 and be like, no! Why did she die? Why? It's like, you know, it's kind of hard, it's kind of weird seeing like MMOs being brought in these kind of discussions. I don't know. I don't know. What do you think? I mean, honestly, what do you think about this? I mean, do you think they're just a bunch of old, misunderstand people that just don't know what the fuck they're talking about because they don't understand to begin with? Or do you think they really do understand it and they're just being like, cute little kids' toys, I mean, what do you really think? I really think that they just don't really know anything about the medium and they're just basing it off the overhyped ads and things they've seen. And not like, you know, like really compelling stuff or stuff that's usually incredibly compelling is not usually very interesting to the, you know, high hyped people, you know, the $1 million selling games and that, because they're not interested usually in those huge, compelling, sad, horrifying, moody feelings. You know, like 999 is this huge emotional experience of horror, fear, isolation, and just, I mean, I felt every emotion during it. Happy, sorrow, crying, feel, scared, looking in the shadows, thinking somebody was going to kidnap me and murder me and choke me to death in 9 hours. I mean, it's pretty weird. But they ain't what, you know, some gamers, they don't want this giant novel thing that's going to touch them. You know, some want to just mortal and see blood spew everywhere. And while I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with playing a game like that, but those ain't, you know, 999's here, but it's not the kind of game that goes to million charts and gets thrown everywhere in the universe. And that's just sadly how it is, sadly. The people who really do like very hugely compelling stories, those kind of games usually ain't the big, huge millions and millions and $1 million selling games. And that does suck. And I really do think that is sad. But, you know, that's a whole different discussion. We're here to really talk about what... I just really feel that's the problem here, you know? They're just basing on visual stuff they've seen, you know. I mean, I could go and say, let's see, what's something model? I don't know a movie that's out right now. I really don't know one that's out right now. I don't know. Really, I'd be interested in your thoughts. What do you think? The crazy, the not crazy, the stupid, the not stupid, the right, the wrong? Let's hear some comments. Come on. Let's start discussion. Let's get wild. Let's get crazy.